I have your attention, please? Please kindly be seated. I humbly request you to put your cell phones on silent mode for the entire duration of the event. I am Dr. Shafayat Rahman from International Business Department, who will be your MC for this event today. Chief guest, Professor Dr. Bishwajit Chando, Honorable Member, University Grants Commission of Bangladesh, UGC. Professor Dr. Abdul Rob, Vice Chancellor, International University of Business, Agriculture and Technology, IUBAT. Professor Imran Rahman, Vice Chancellor, University of Liberal Arts, Bangladesh, ULAB. Professor Yusuf Mahbubul Islam, PhD, Vice Chancellor, Southeast University. Mr. Didar A. Hussain, Chair of the Board of Trustee, IUB. Members of the BOT, Vice Chancellor, Professor Tanvir Hassan, PhD. Pro Vice Chancellor, Professor Niaz Ahmed Khan, PhD. Respected Treasurer, Registrar, Deans, Faculty, Staff, colleagues, and most importantly, students of IUB. Assalamu alaikum. It is our distinct pleasure and privilege to welcome you all to the SBE Fest 2024. We have a 2-day-long program with a lot of student activities, competitions, a workshop by Smart Bangladesh Accelerator, and most importantly, a discussion session with the eminent speakers. The topic of the session is titled Vision 2041 Smart Bangladesh, the role of private universities. At this point, now I would request you all to kindly stand for the national anthem.
আমার সোনার বাংলা আমি তোমায় ভালোবাসি চিরদিন তোমার আকাশ চিরদিন তোমার আকাশ তোমার বাতাস আমার প্রাণে তোমার আমার প্রাণে বাজায় বাঁশি সোনার বাংলা আমি তোমায় ভালোবাসি ওমা ফাগুনে তোর আমের বনে গানে পাগল করে মনে হায় হায় রে ওমা ফাগুনে তোর আমের বনে গানে পাগল করে ওমা আঘ্রাণে তোর ভরা খেতে কি দেখেছি আমি কি দেখেছি মধুর হাসি সোনার বাংলা আমি তোমায় ভালোবাসি
Thank you. Please be seated. Before we delve into our main discussion, we'd like to show you a short video that our students of marketing department have created. They have worked really hard over the Eid break to prepare a video to introduce the School of Business and Entrepreneurship. I hope you'd enjoy that video.
Independent University Bangladesh, established in 1993, is the leading private university in Bangladesh with the best success rate. It has a modern campus on 3 acres with more than 10,000 students and around 250 faculty members, where half of them have PhDs. Led by Vice Chancellor Professor Tanveer Hassan PhD, the university follows the North American liberal arts model. The university is dedicated to providing a transformative educational experience.
School of Business and Entrepreneurship is the largest school of independent university Bangladesh, led by Dr. Mehrul Ahmed. Our PhD-holding faculty from top global universities engage in leading research and provide up-to-date academic insights. This promotes critical thinking, innovation, and problem-solving skills. At IUB, this is the biggest goal, and we focus on academic excellence, leadership development, and a transformative learning experience. Enriched by diverse extracurricular activities, we are proud to nurture future leaders who excel in their fields and drive positive change in the world. Experience the difference at IUB. The Department of Accounting provides students with a comprehensive understanding of financial and managerial accounting, auditing, and taxation. The Department of Economics provides a comprehensive understanding of microeconomics and macroeconomics, as well as international trade and development economics. The Department of Finance provides coverage of topics such as financial markets, instruments, and institutions, as well as corporate finance and investment analysis. The Department of International Business provides students with a global perspective on business, covering topics such as international trade, finance, and management. The Department of Human Resource Management provides an emphasis on the importance of effective human resource management in achieving organizational goals. The Department of General Management provides a focus on developing leadership and management skills, covering topics such as organizational behavior, strategic management, and human resource management. The Department of Marketing provides coverage of the principles and practices of marketing, including market research, brand management, and consumer behavior. The Department of Management Information System provides a focus on the design, implementation, and management of information systems to support business operations.
Enrollment grew steadily from 2018 to 2023, with improved success reflecting our commitment to excellence and growth. Students secured positions in leading companies including Dhaka Stock Exchange, Lankamangla Securities, Bad Bangladesh, Grameenphone, Robi, Banglalink, Nestle, Unilever, HSBC, Standard Chartered, Coca-Cola, Citi, and Bikash.
Our leader in corporate leadership and nation building, shaping society with their roles in education and public services. Their work reflects the value of excellence and innovation from our institution. We celebrate their achievement, inspire current and future students to make impactful contribution to community and beyond. School of Business and Entrepreneurship actively connect industry and academia. Here are some notable events. The Department of Finance has a training lab dedicated to preparing students for their future careers. Captivating public talk arranged by SBE featuring Professor Raja Rashia and Dr. Atitur Rahman. The Department of Marketing joined forces with GP Academy to nurture the next generation of business leaders. The glorifying movement of SBE event in affiliation with different club of SBE. A seminar with Tribina Hawk. Women's Day celebration. Brand SBE Alumni Fest. Boys from SBE became champion in business competition. Seminar with top chartered accountant of Bangladesh. Industry visit to learn hands-on experience. Faculty participation in conference. Business debate competition. SBE faculty. International conference participation. CSR work by HR department. SBE Graduates Open Day.
SBE always supports a wide range of extracurricular activities to ensure well-rounded development. SBE also aims to produce future leaders who excel in their field and contribute positively to the society.
Thank you, Marketing Department, for creating such a wonderful video representing SBE and IUB. Due to an unavoidable circumstance, our Dean SBE, Professor Dr. Mehrun Ahmed, could not join us. We wish for her father's quick recovery. At this moment of this event, I would like to invite our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor Tanvir Ahmed, PhD, to deliver his welcoming remarks.
Assalamualaikum and good morning. আমার নাম Tanvir Hassan, Tanvir Ahmed নয়, just to make a correction. Chief guest, Dr. Biswajit Chandra, Professor Biswajit Chandra, Honorable Member of the University Grants Commission, Bangladesh. Special guest, Mr. Didar Atwar Hussain, Chairman of the Board of Trustees, IUB. Professor Abdul Rab, Vice Chancellor, International University of Business, Agriculture and Technology, Professor Imran Rahman, Vice Chancellor, University of Liberal Arts, Bangladesh, Professor Yusuf Mahbubul Islam, Vice Chancellor, Southeast University, Professor Niaz Ahmed Khan, Pro-Vice Chancellor of our own IUB, respected guests, colleagues, and last but not least, my dear students. Assalamu alaikum, namaskar, and a very good morning to you all. I didn't hear you well, right? Good morning. That's like it. A very welcome to you all to the SBE Fest 2024. I am delighted to have a number of distinguished guests on campus today. IUB actually already crafted a strategic plan in response to the national goals of Smart Bangladesh and Vision 2041. And not only that, we have intermediate plans within our strategic plan about our transition in 2030. And we spelled those out in our strategic deliberations. And we already made significant curriculum changes and made some programmatic changes as we speak. So this has been a part and parcel of our strategic plan to respond to the national needs, to the national goals, and via that to serve the global needs and global goals. Also, along this line, you'll be happy to hear that we also made changes, significant changes in our student recruitment policy. We also made significant changes in our faculty recruitment policy. If you know the demography of this country, 51% are women. In this country right now, 51% are women. If we then don't get them involved more and more into our national activities, all of those lofty goals will not be easy to reach. With that goal in mind, we embarked on recruiting female students, not just for the population's sake, because of their performance in the SSC, HEC as well. And I'm pleased to let you know that in the last 2 semesters, we have had 49% female in our incoming batches. That's a reflection of our strategic goal. Second, we also wanted to increase the number of female faculty, along with the same national policy. And I'm pleased to let you know that we have 235 faculty members right now at IUB, full-time. And out of that, 124 of them were hired in last 3.5 years. And a significant portion of that are female faculty members, because I want my female students to see female role models. When I came in as a vice chancellor, only 4 or 3.5% of the female were in administrative position. And I'm proud to let you know, today, about 30% of the administrative leadership roles are held by female population. These are all geared to one goal, not just our curricular changes, we have to make other changes that will complement our curricular changes. And we are steadfast and we have the conviction to respond to the national goals and deliver to the country, to the nation, what it deserves. On a different note, as we embark on this transformation into different curricula, I'll be honest with you, business has been a little behind. In the last board meeting, the board has given me a consensus to technologically transform the business school. Because the way we know business school, the brick and mortar business school, will not work in the future, and it's not working now. So, to go back to the roots, some of us, like me, I'm a professor of finance, happens to be the vice chancellor right now, but my main identity is I'm a professor of finance. And a lot of us, depending on the field, are not trained well to embrace this technology. Doesn't matter what we say. So, recognizing that, we have embarked on training our own faculty into technology. And I'm proud to report to you that a number of business faculty have already completed the first series of this technological transformation training, and they have taken courses in Python. So, unless I have the faculty ready, how can my students learn from them? So it has to be a holistic change, not just the student, not just the curriculum, and not just the faculty. It has to be a consensus effort to build a new Bangladesh, a new, stronger, developed Bangladesh. Normally I speak a lot, and as you all know, professors often speak too long when they get a chance, and I'm no exception. But knowing the list of distinguished speakers ahead of me, I would rather cut it down, because I would love to hear what they have to say. In a brief, in a nutshell, I described what IUB is up to when it comes to Vision 2041, Vision 2030, Smart Bangladesh, and whatnot. So I would cut it short, but before I step down, I would like to make a special thank you note to the Dean of SBE. I wish her family issue gets resolved soon. We miss her here. The fellow faculty members for SBE, who has worked very hard. And by the way, I belong to School of Business and Entrepreneurship, because that's where my address was all my life. This is a temporary transition I have as a vice chancellor, and sooner than later, I plan to return to some finance department, if not IUB, somewhere else. So my main identity is I'm a professor, and I will remain as a professor. So I wanted to thank you, my fellow colleagues from SBE, for putting out hard work and putting out the show today. And special thanks to the Dean SBE for her skill in assembling so many distinguished panelists in such a short notice. I bow to her, because I would not have been able to make this connection and make this distinguished gentleman agree to come and speak to us. So let's give her a hand. And again, I thank you all, particularly all the busy individuals, Mr. Bishwajit, Professor Bishwajit Chando. Thank you, and he has been very busy, and always been busy. And I would like to publicly acknowledge that every time in the last 3.5 years, every time we tried to reach out to him, he never declined us. He responded every time. Thank you, Dr. Bishwajit Chando. And to the fellow Vice Chancellor, I think, respected sirs, I think beyond this occasion, we should find a way to meet more frequently. There are several good schools side by side. We can pool our resources together and can do a wide range of activities that will be a win-win situation for all of us. And at the end, the nation will be served better if we work together on some major issues. So I'll give a shout out to my fellow vice chancellors. Sirs, let's make it a beginning of a new beginning where we have cooperation, research, and other exchanges within the university, which is very much absent in this country, in my opinion. With that, I wish you all the best. Please enjoy the rest of the 2 days. I hope you will like the campus, those who are visiting. Please come back. Let me conclude here. Joy Bangla.
Thank you, sir, for your remarks. I would now like to invite our Honorable Chair of BOT, Mr. Didar A. Hussain, to deliver his remark.
Assalamu alaikum and a very good day to you. I am distinctly honored to stand up here and welcome our chief guest, Professor Bishwajit Chandra, member University Grants Commission. Like VC has said, he has been helping us in so many ways since he has been in the UGC. Professor Abdul Rab, Vice Chancellor, Ayubat, welcome sir. Then Professor Imran Rahman, Vice Chancellor ULAB, and Professor Mahbubul Islam, Vice Chancellor Southeast University. We have a galaxy of brilliant speakers who would be talking, and personally, I'm going to benefit from that. So a heartfelt welcome to you all, not forgetting our Vice Chancellor, Pro-Vice Chancellor, Registrar, Deans, and all the faculties. And last, not but the least, our very dear students who are the future of Bangladesh. I'll not take much time, just want to say one thing, that today's students, our charges, they are our future. So how you look at it in 2041, where Bangladesh shall be, or we can go, it depends on asking questions and answering those. In our culture, we don't ask questions. We only listen and we take it as a dogma and build it on that. So we have to come out of that if you want a 2041 smart Bangladesh. And hopefully by then I'm gone, so it's not my worry. So, next 2 days, please focus yourself and get as much information, knowledge that you can gather, because in today's world, our country's respect comes out from the knowledge base. I mean, you look around our area, I mean, IIT graduate gets employed immediately because of the knowledge base. So we have to focus on that. If you want to be smart, we have to be ready for that. So thank you again, everyone, and my fellow trustees for helping the university and the faculties to grow and develop. We shall do our best, but we want you to help us. And by doing that, we shall be helping one another. I thank you again, and everyone stay blessed. Joy Bangla, and long live Bangladesh. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for your remarks. I would now like to invite our eminent speaker, Professor Dr. Abdul Rab, Vice Chancellor, International University of Business, Agriculture and Technology, IUBAT, for his valuable remarks.
Chairman of the Board of Trustees, Vice Chancellor of IUPAT, my fellow colleagues in the universities, faculty members of IUPAT, and my dear students. As I stand here, I just recollect way back to 2001 when I was working for BRAC University. I'm just sharing this information. If you want to be on the top, you have to have a strategic plan and you have to have commitment to implement this. BRAC reached a place where we feel that they have achieved their goal. And I'm very happy to know that IUBAT has already drawn up such a strategic plan and also an intermediate plan, and also going forward to implement those things to reach the goal of a smart Bangladesh in 2041. The reason I'm telling you this, I was a professor of strategic management, used to teach at IBA, and it was close to my heart. So when I joined BRAC, the first thing I emphasized to Abid Bhai, that if you would like to achieve something, you must have a strategic plan. Unfortunately, many of our fellow universities have not done this. They are drifting away, and I guess many of them will have difficulties in very near future when this accreditation process starts. Well, I'll get back to this topic. A smart Bangladesh. Out of the 4 pillars, I will talk only about smart citizens. How can I make smart citizens? What are the characteristics of smart citizens? Well, at the core of the smartness is the technology, basically IT. Basically equipping every individual with the technology that would enable them to lead their personal life in a productive way, and also should be able to contribute to the society by using his smart knowledge, skill, and ability. Now, the preparation of a smart citizen would require, first of all, a smart education. That is the first and most important requirement. And to that extent, the government has already set up the stage. They have started modifying the curriculum of the schools, colleges, and there is also efforts to train the teachers so that they can take up the responsibility of teaching and making smart students. I'm very glad to know that IUB has already started doing that for the teachers. It is a must for every university, I would say. And the honorable member of UGC here, Professor Chando, we had discussion earlier also in other meetings that UGC should start a teaching staff college, or what we say, like one PATC. I'm not sure how far we have gone, but that has become urgent and very important at this stage if we would really like to prepare a smart citizen. Unless the teachers are smart, how can they prepare smart students and smart citizens? I'm just trying to point out the requirement that is to be addressed. Now, about the teacher's attitude, I may be a little negative, but the attitude of continuous learning is still absent in many teachers. I've been working with the teachers since 1972, and I have unfortunately noticed that very little change has taken place in their mindset. Unless the teacher's mindset is changed, unless they adopt continuous learning, continuous improvement in their teaching skill and so on, we are not going to produce smart students. Of course, teachers are critical. At the same time, the courses and curricula, these are also important. We are talking about fourth industrial revolution and its impact on education. Where are we now at present? Have we been able to address the requirements of fourth industrial revolution in our university education? Very little of it. Very little of it. And fifth industrial revolution is already here. Sixth is knocking at the door. So we are falling behind. What we need to do, urgent actions. Every university should try to analyze their vision, mission, goals, and revise these in the light of the Smart Bangladesh 2041. That is an urgent need. Second, they need to identify the job requirements of the graduates, not for today, tomorrow, also for future. And that is a big challenge. When you ask the employers, what sort of skills will you require, say 5 years from now, unfortunately they don't have good answers. They themselves don't know what is coming up, what sort of skills will be required. Now, it is the responsibility of the university to identify what major changes in employment will take place, say in about 5 years and more, and try to prepare students to take care of those needs. Well, the curriculum, of course, is important. The teacher's skill is important, but adoption of the teaching methodology appropriate for the development of smart students need to be considered. There's a major step taken by UGC in introducing outcome-based education. I must appreciate UGC for doing it. They are still insisting others to adopt and implement. That is going to help a lot. But even now, I see there are teachers who still do not understand what is OBE and how to teach under OBE. So, of course, it is the responsibility of the individual university to make sure that their teachers do understand and adopt and implement OBE. IQAC has been one of the good things that UGC had done. Quality assurance. Well, this is functioning quite well in many universities. In others, they are not really that active. But their role must be not only upheld, but must also be emphasized, should be given due importance in the university's administrative hierarchy, so that they are influential over the teaching faculty members and can actually motivate them to do the needful. Now, we say smartness. Now, smartness certainly involves communication skill. Students' communication skill must be good. but not just the traditional communication skill. We are not talking of communicating with the machines, softwares and others. The fifth IR is going to address interaction between machine and man, trying to create a cooperative environment between man and machine. In other words, not only communicating with individuals, human beings, the student must learn how to communicate with the emerging technological IoT and other gadgets. How do you ensure this? Unless we bring in major changes in the curriculum, unless we train the students to do this, we are not going to achieve it. Smartness actually is rooted to what I call the critical thinking and problem-solving ability. Every student must be trained in this. In the schools, there is an effort to actually implement this idea of critical thinking. I have been talking to a few teachers of the schools, and I found that they still don't understand what is the purpose of this approach, okay? And how would they implement this? Many of them have been trained already by online courses, still are getting training. And from that example, I would say we should immediately launch at least an online program, a course that would enable our teachers to upgrade their IT skill. Okay? Not just in the business school, but across all the departments that is needed. Now, I come across some questions from my colleagues in the English department. So, sir, we don't teach actually, we actually ask them to learn how to write, okay, how to compose, how to prepare a report and things like this. Now, why do we have to learn all this computer programming and other courses? I have difficulty in making understand that unless you get along with this, your students will fall behind. Because the area of technology in the media and other places are fast changing where these English graduates will work. So they will be unable to actually fit themselves there. Well, I think other valuable other distinguished speakers will also shed light on this. I am very thankful to the Vice Chancellor, the Board of Trustees for inviting me here and giving me an opportunity to share my views. And I would also endorse the view that has been expressed by the Honorable Vice Chancellor of IUBAT, that there should be cooperation among the universities, at least among the private universities. We actually try to have MOU with the foreign universities. Why? That will perhaps elevate our image of international aspects, so on. But if you analyze in the final, you will find nothing has really happened. Very, very little has happened. Okay, but we have never explored how can we cooperate among ourselves to share resources, and what resources can we share. Okay, now I just would like to draw attention of Professor Chandra that way back in 2006 or 7, we proposed that the PhD program could be organized as a cooperative, collaborative approach. And the reason was that the objection was raised that there are not enough qualified teachers in each university to have their own PhD program. But now things have changed. Some 50% of the teachers at IUBT have PhDs. In my university, we have 40%, and we are trying to increase. So I must appreciate, once again, thank our honorable member of UGC that they are with this preparation of guidelines for allowing private universities to open PhDs. That's good. So collaboration can be certainly be done quite profitably. Let us identify the areas. But just for simple, I would say, we don't even collaborate with the exchange of library services. Very simple. Okay. It is not possible for any single university to acquire all the materials that are necessary for a enriched library. Okay. There could be inter-library exchange and so on. That can be done very easily. Okay. There are also the need for, say, having access to the international journals and others. Now, it is possible that we pool our resources together to subscribe to the international journals, which are very expensive, which may not be possible for every university to subscribe. And there will be perhaps duplication also. Why not let us look at this? So I would request Professor Tanveer Hassan to take the initiative, explore, and find what areas we can cooperate and how can we proceed. This is a very good suggestions that we should try to follow. Once again, thank you very much for your patient listening. Allah Hafiz.
Thank you, sir, for your insightful remarks. We are glad to announce that Honorable BOT member, Mr. Tanveer Madar, sir, has graced us with his presence. Now I would like to invite distinguished speaker, Professor Imran Rahman, Vice Chancellor, University of Liberal Arts Bangladesh, ULAB, to render his speech.
Good morning. Thank you very much for inviting me. So, President of the Board, Didar Hussain, Vice Chancellor Tanveer Hassan, other distinguished members of the IUB, and my distinguished fellow Vice Chancellors, and of course our Chief Guest, Professor Bishwadit Chando, member of the University Grants Commission. Thank you very much. To be honest, I thought this would be a panel discussion, so I'd made no preparations for a talk. But, as a VC, if I can't do that, then what am I doing in this position, right? The topic before us is Vision 2041, the role of private universities at that time. Let me just give you a background about my journey to this current position. I basically joined IBA as a faculty in 1984, and it's been wonderful decades there. And my colleague, Professor Rab, was both my teacher and my boss, and later my colleague there. And, IBA obviously is the pioneer business school, but at some point I felt that I wasn't working hard enough in IBA, or I wasn't getting enough opportunity to work hard. So just driving a car with a Dhaka University sticker on the windscreen wasn't cutting it for me anymore. And I thought, while I'm still young, I need to be working far, far harder. So this is basically why I moved from IBA to a private university, in this case, University of Liberal Arts Bangladesh, ULAB, in 2006, when the university was only 2 years old. So I've been privileged to be involved with the development of ULAB from that time till now. So it's been almost 18 years in this university for me. And it's been a huge learning experience. And whatever we've achieved has been because of the team building effort, the team that I have supporting the ULAB's mission and goal. And from that perspective, I must say that, if I look back at private universities, it's been 30 years since the birth of private universities, and we've come a long way, right? Before private universities, there was so much demand for university places, but which could not be fulfilled because the places or availability of public university seats were very limited. So I used to hear in those days a lot of students from Bangladesh would go to India to study in the universities there. So in that sense, private universities has pretty much stemmed that tide. So very few students now go to India because there are so many places here. Although just day before yesterday, I saw a slightly troubling report on the, I think, a newspaper called the Business Post, which showed a declining numbers of students in private universities over the last few years. I don't know what is the reason behind these. Maybe because there are also growing number of public universities, growing number of colleges under the national university, which are pretty much offering the same degrees as private universities do. Or maybe some students who would prefer to do vocational. As you know, in many countries, like particularly in Scandinavia and Germany, smart people don't always young people don't always go to universities, right? They would do a vocational, they would learn, welding, or they learn electrician or plumbing, and make as much or even higher money than a university educated person would. So unfortunately, our society and culture is not at that stage. We do look down upon blue-collar work. We don't want to get our hands dirty. That's unfortunate. I hope that will change in future. So we have challenges. Even though we've come 30 years, we still have major challenges before us. One of the things that worries me, that this is not limited to private universities, but if you look at the rate of unemployment, people who don't have jobs, the highest rate of unemployment are amongst the graduates of universities. I think, why is that? That means there's some gross failure somewhere. That a young person is investing so much years of his life, so much money, and the parents are as well, and yet they are not getting a job that they desire. So, that to me is one of the things that we have to fix in order to reach the 2041 vision. What must we do to make sure that the graduates from our private universities and all universities get a job that they desire? And the future job scenario will change drastically. It already has. The future job market will involve a lot more remote work. My son, who's now living in the USA, he has a full-time job, right? But he works from home 6 days a week. Sorry, 5 days a week. There are 5 working days. 4 days a week he works from home, and 1 day he goes to office. So that's going to happen here as well, by the way. So, we have to build that into our teaching pedagogy. We have to train our students about the new future of work, where, remote working, or even, young graduates having more than 2 jobs. That's also a thing of the future. Because the young people of the future, they actually value their personal time a lot more than, our time. Our time, we were, completely chained to the office, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., 5 days a week. Young people of today or the future are not going to take that. They want their fun as well. They want to enjoy their life. They want to enjoy their friends. So I think the job market will be far more flexible. And even at ULAB, we are actually reviewing our policy of, faculty policy. And whenever possible, we do allow faculty to take classes online, in hybrid, etc. So there's a lot to do in order to prepare ourselves for the 2041 and Smart Bangladesh vision. And the work starts with the universities, of course, and Professor Tanveer mentioned about the strategic plan that IUB is undertaking. I'm happy to note that we are revising our strategic plan. We already had the first one in 2019 that is expiring early this year. So we are, preparing our next strategic plan, which will be far, far different. I think the other thing I found, while, like most of my colleagues, we visit other countries. I visit India. Recently I was in Hyderabad. And I just noticed that we are very insular. We are not really keeping our eye on the education system of our neighboring countries. Let's not go to USA and Europe, far-flung places. Let's just look at our neighborhood. And the most obvious country to look at is obviously India, which has a huge number of universities and some very good private universities as well. And I was talking to a business school dean there. There are some standalone business schools in India, by the way. That means just at a business school, they're not part of any university. So I hope, in Bangladesh, the UGC will, look at that possibility. For example, at a medium-sized university, it's called the Narsi Manji School of Management in Mumbai. Which actually originally that was a college, Onek Purano college. But the UGC of India allowed that college to transform into a university. That's also actually quite a good idea. Maybe in Bangladesh, there are some excellent old colleges which could, be given a pathway into becoming a university. This Narsi Manji, I thought it was an ordinary university. Then I asked them, okay, and they have only MBA. So what is the fees? What fees do they pay? And the, the dean said the fees are 25 lakh Indian rupees per year. I said, what? 25 lakh Indian rupees per year? That's, I don't know what the fees are here, but probably the top fees of MBA in Bangladesh is, 4 lakh a year maybe? Is that, 4 lakh maximum? Not even that. Lower, 3 lakh. So I was asking, who affords these 25 lakh rupees? How can they afford it? Because these kids come from all over India, okay? Indian society is very competitive, right? They have to come from a little town somewhere and they slowly work their way up into a college like Narsi Manji. And then they said, well, you know what? If they can get admission in our university, they just take the admission paper and they go to a bank, a deemed bank with whom we have a collaboration, and the bank will give them a loan without any collateral. Just that admission paper is the security. Because the bank knows that with that MBA degree, this student will get a good job and will be able to pay off the loan in due time. So I was just thinking, how come Bangladesh we missed that bus, right? Why is that we are blasted by the media and so many people that private universities are charging huge fees, this and that? Do you know that the Indian private universities charge at least 4 times us? At least 4 times. How come there are no complaints there? And, university education doesn't come cheaply. Like there is, for example, look at Harvard, look at Stanford, look at the quality of teachers they have, look at the quality of facilities. Those are expensive. So same thing here, you can't paint them with the same brush. So we have a lot to do. And Professor Rab mentioned about how prepared are the teachers who are going to be the kind of harbingers of quality in the future. How prepared are they to produce graduates who will be fit for the future 21st century, fourth industrial revolution kind of world that we're going to go live in? Well, frankly, we are not prepared enough. Think about it. If I was going to be a teacher in a school, I would need a diploma in education to become a teacher in a school. But to become a teacher in a university, I don't need anything. Even a PhD is not necessary. Okay, maybe I have a PhD. But the PhD is basically a research exercise. It does not prepare us to become a teacher, which is a completely different proposition. So again, many universities, including ULAB, have realized this. And when new teachers join us, we take them through an elaborate, internal orientation. Firstly, making sure that they understand our values, what are the things we want in our kids, and the role of the teacher is also going to change a lot, because the role of the teacher is not to be a repository of information and data. Well, you have this, all of you have this. This is a smartphone. This is a mini computer, right? So why should the teacher learn facts? Because you can just Google it and contradict the teacher immediately. So the role of the teacher is basically to inspire, basically to help you learn. You hear the word critical thinking. What it means is basically to help you think for yourself, instead of somebody else telling you, hey, this is the situation. You make your own mind up about anything that you observe, anything that you read, and you come to your own conclusion and not be dictated by somebody else. That is basically what critical thinking means. And the next step is being able to explain your interpretation of anything to somebody else. Okay? And so critical thinking is especially necessary given the kind of world we are going to invent or move into. Like Professor Raab said, that the employers really don't know what kind of skills will be required 5 years from now. So if they don't know, how will we know? The universities. Well, we won't. So what should be our strategy then to teach our kids? Well, our strategy is to empower our students so that they can think for themselves. If they don't know something, they can open a manual and, learn by themselves how to operate something. And they can learn by themselves. They won't need to hold the hands of a private tutor all their lives. Right? So the love or the need for lifelong learning is essential for the kind of world that we're going to move into. And that's what one of the philosophies of ULAB, the love for lifelong learning, because we do not stop learning when we graduate from a university. That's just the beginning. We learn continuously. I'm learning every day. And, there is not enough learning that we can do. So that's the kind of students that we need to make. But to be fair on the teachers can't do it alone, right? Students have to be also prepared to be active learners in the classroom, okay? So just spoon feeding is not going to work because you'll just forget everything within seconds. And that's the other challenge. How do we create an active learning environment within the classroom? And that requires a very special type of teacher who will encourage questions, who will not get annoyed if the student asks him a question that he can't answer. And I always say, look, don't take my word for it, because I might tell you wrong things. Just don't take my word for it. That's not my job to give you right answers. My job is to help you find the right answers. That's my job. So there's a lot of challenge ahead, but if I can end by mentioning that how can you today prepare yourself better? One thing you have to remember that this 4 years, particularly for undergraduates that you're getting, is a lot of time, a lot of precious time which you will never have in your life once you graduate. Once you graduate, you'll be joining that dog race, getting a job, thinking about promotion, getting married, kids, house, swimming pool, BMW, whatever. So you'll be too caught up with that. So this is the time you prepare yourself, and just don't think that education is limited to the four walls of your classroom. In fact, if I think back to my education, I was in a very good university in UK, and আমি অনেক ক্লাস ফাঁকি দিতাম কিন্তু আমি কিন্তু ফাঁকি দিয়ে I used to attend all the other events that were happening in that university. And I'm sure ওখান থেকে I got a lot of learning which I didn't realize at that time. So learning comes from being curious, right? You have to be curious, absolutely curious. Just don't walk past, you see something and you একটু মাথায় আসলো যে এটা কি and you just forget it. No, don't do that. Get into it. So what was that? Did you understand it? What is the cause of this? So that is learning continuously, and you have something which is a fantastic learning thing. I'm sorry to say that আমাকে একজন বাংলাদেশের স্কিল এক্সপার্ট বলল যে বাংলাদেশে এই স্মার্টফোনটা is still not seen as a learning tool. It is basically an entertainment tool, which is a bit sad. I mean, is there any point about bragging that Bangladesh has one of the largest number of Facebook users? I mean, really, we should be using this. Really, to be smart smart citizen, you should use the smartphone smartly. If you do that, you will learn a lot. So, আমাদের যেটা বলতে যাচ্ছিলাম যে it's in your control. The time is in your hand. How much hard work you want to do, what you want to do with your extra time, whether you want to just have fun, hang out with friends, which is important. But just that, or will you do something else? Will you do a part-time work? Will you go and see a play? Will you go and seek an internship in Singapore? Why not? Why are you thinking of internships only in Bangladesh? I see Sri Lankan kids doing internships in the UN in New York. Why not you guys? So, you know, I think somebody has put curtains or, you know, ki bolbo je ghorar je ye thake around you. Just rip them off. Sky's the limit for you guys. You guys are as smart as any other young people anywhere in the world. Okay? So, and you're adults, this is your life. Start thinking for yourself instead of slavishly following what your parents or your boro bhai, boro apu tell you. This is what I tell my students. And, you know, I think you'll be surprised. Each of you have an innate gift within you, innate talent. You need to find what that is. It's not always, you know, hard talents. It could be something like music. As you know, I'm also a musician. I play in a band called the Renaissance. And I see that as a wonderful corollary to my full-time job. So, you know, life in the future is going to be very different. Please embrace it. And you're in a great university. This was the first private university I walked into when I was a faculty at IBA. Because my friend Omar Rahman used to be I think he was a pro-VC at that time, and I gave 2 or 3 lectures here. So make the most of it, and I wish you all the best going forward in the future. Thank you very, very much.
Thank you, sir, for your insightful remarks. Dear audience, our Honorable VC, sir, would like to share an valuable information with you. IOB has 2 years student exchange program with Mandarban University, which is the first public-private university initiatives. And this program is running very successfully. Thank you, sir, for taking such kind of initiatives. Now, I would like to invite our distinguished speaker, Professor Yusuf Mahbubul Islam, PhD, Vice Chancellor, Southeast University, for his remarks.
Professor Biswajit Chanda, fellow Vice Chancellors, fellow administrators, distinguished audience, the students. Assalamu alaikum. The speakers spoke about the general environment, so what I'll try to do is kind of summarize just before Professor Bishwajit's talk, summarize where we are. So, now give the whole page. I just have 2 slides for you. Okay. Okay. So, I think it was Professor Rahman that pointed out that our job industry, like this is a study from BIDS some years ago, and it shows that we need 80 lakh skilled workers. Semi-skilled and 31 lakh unskilled workers by 2025. And on the other hand, we have this alarming gap. You see this article by Prothamalo. It shows the unemployed from mainly private universities. Huge number of graduates. So we have, on the one hand, we have people who are unemployed, and on the other hand, we need many people in the industry. So what are we doing wrong? So at the top, I've written, this is an opportunity for the private universities to fill in this gap. But as Trustee Didar pointed out, that it has to start with a question. What do the industries need? How do we connect with the industries? And Professor Rahman, Imran Rahman, repeatedly showed his mobile, so let me bring mine out as well. We call this smart. Why do we call it smart? Why do we call this phone smart? And we're talking about smart Bangladesh. What does the word smart mean? We use the word a lot, but what does it mean? Huh? Smart means dressing up with a tie. This is smart because the people who have created the apps in the phone, they have found out what people need as human beings to function. What are the things that we need? It's the same with Smart Bangladesh. We have to go out to the industry to find out what the industry needs. So let me give you a quotation here. Anyway, this is the end of the slide. 8 lakhs unemployed graduates in 2023. But if we wish to become smart, the best way to predict the future is to create it. So how can we do that? So let me give you a few practical examples just to tie up what was being said by our distinguished speakers before. The first thing is, Trustee Didar said, we don't ask questions. The first question is, what does our industry need? And the students, they have to go to the industry and find out and bring that back. And one of the very good things that IUB has is a program called LFE. Excellent, because I've met some alumni who said that their development started from the LFE program. Their transformation started from the LFE program, because they go out into the villages, look at what people do there and how they live. Because people in our urban cities don't even know how the people in the village live. What is Bangladesh? They don't know. So this excellent program that IUB has, I think the previous people who, the previous trustees who set up this program and the vice chancellors, they actually used to visit each LFE, because it's all over Bangladesh. They used to visit each camp. And I've met these people from IUB, and they are global people. So that's a very good program that can make the students aware of what's going on. So let me end with a few examples. This is from another university. You spoke about teachers not knowing what's going on. So we just have to, hit the nail on the head. How do we do it? For example, from the pharmaceutical industry, in one university, we got 35 industries to come. So on the one side, we had the industries. On the other side, we had the teachers from the pharmacy department. And to both, I actually gave the same question. In your opinion, what type of graduates, what type of skills does the industry need? So the industry people wrote out their ideas on idea cards. Similarly, the teachers of the pharmacy department wrote out their ideas on cards. And on the board, we separated the two ideas, teachers on the left and the industry on the right. And I got the industry people to explain what they needed. And there was a 70% gap between what the teachers thought the industry needed and what the industry said that they needed. But this was an eye-opening event which helped the teachers realize that we're preparing our students for the industry. We're not just teaching. This is one instance. Another instance, this is actually from IUB itself. A company, they wanted to create an AI team, artificial intelligence team in their company. And we invited them because they don't normally take graduates from IUB. So we invited them, said, what do you need? Work with us. Let's work jointly to prepare your team. So they told us a few things that they need, and we gave them 2 weeks of training before they came. And we said, don't interview them for jobs. Interview them for internships. And during the internship, give some training. We give some training, you give some training, and by the time they graduate, they'll be ready for the jobs that you need. So they were here at IUB for 2 days, and they interviewed 30 people, eventually took 4. And during the internship, they paid them $35,000 during the internship. And once they got jobs, once they finished and graduated, they have now absorbed them at $65,000. Okay? So what am I saying? That to be smart, we have to go out into the industry, just like this, the smartphone. We have to find out what you need. And we have to say, let's work jointly to create the manpower that you need. Because nowadays, internships is just looked at, yes, people will come and I'm doing a service to the industry, a CSR, whatever. But it has to be looked upon as creating the right kind of manpower that the industry needs. So these are the kind of examples. And of course, Professor Tanvir shared other examples of, educating the teachers. And Professor Abdurrab also pointed out they don't realize what OBE means. So when I take the class of OBE for teachers, I first ask them questions again. That why was it necessary to create or instill or come up with the concept of OBE? So OBE simply means outcome-based. So outcome is the skill that the student has to have. So if we first are able to define the skill and work backwards, then we know what outcome we wish to achieve. And that's what it is. But as Professor Abdurrab pointed out, it's just a word that we use. We don't actually know how to implement it. So to be smart, we have to find out what the industry needs, bring the industry to our university. And there's, like in the textile industry in UK, does anyone know how it started? In the UK, inside the university, they set up the machines and showed how the production line of textile industry garments industry can work in the university. And then people came from the industry, looked at it, and then set up the same thing in the industry. So this is smart. So we go out, find out what the industry needs, and LFE is a good program for the students to actually find out what the university needs. But the university, the teachers also have to get involved in all these things and do this kind of research themselves to fulfill the need of the universities. And simultaneously, they'll be preparing the students. So thank you for inviting me here.
Thank you, sir, for your valuable remarks. Now I would like to invite our Honorable Chief Guest, Professor Dr. Bishwadit Chando, Honorable Member, University Grants Commission of Bangladesh, UGC, to enlighten us with his valuable remarks.
Good afternoon. Respected Chairman, Board of Trustees, IUB, Honorable Vice Chancellors from this university and from IUBAT, ULAB, and Southeast Universities, Honorable Pro Vice Chancellor, IUB, and Honorable Deans, Registrar, Heads or Chairpersons of the departments, respected teachers, and students, volunteers, and whoever present here, distinguished guests. A very good afternoon to all of you. I thank Honorable Dean, SBE, and the University Authority for inviting me here and giving me the opportunity to hear from our learned teachers. It was really a very fruitful discussion, and all of us learned a lot from the discussion of our teachers. Honorable Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina announced in 2022 the transform from Digital Bangladesh to Smart Bangladesh 2041, the vision she has and our state has. There are 4 bases she mentioned in her initial speech. We will have smart citizens, smart economy, smart government, and smart society. And we know that the universities can play a very important role. I could have said most important, but there are primary and secondary schools. They have a very important role as well. So the universities can play a very important role in shaping our country as a smart Bangladesh. Honorable Prime Minister mentioned in her speech that every citizen will be skilled in using technology. Economic activities will run through using technology. The government will be technologically smart, and she claimed, and we know that we have partially done that, and the whole society will be technologically smart. If a university, it might be private or maybe public, if they follow this path and if they base their activities on these 4 bases, they can also present themselves as smart universities. So if we talk about governance of a university, which was mentioned by Honorable Vice Chancellor of this university. The governance of a university, if it's smart, it will train its teachers and non-academic staff to become smart. What the head of the government mentioned in her speech, that focused on technology-based smartness. But as academics or as a teacher, we should also add something else with this, to mention someone as smart or to claim someone as smart. With technology, we should also emphasize on their ethics, morality, professionalism, their art of empathy, and other qualities to become smart, such as punctuality, the habit of upskilling or reskilling on self, and their attitude, which should be down to earth. And there are many other qualities. And a university can also have those qualities. If a university has a smart campus, its governance is smart, and the education it provides, the outcome would be smart, their faculties are smart, and their non-academic staff or members of staff are smart, they are ready to make their students smart, then that is, university is also smart. And if they produce, or if they are able to present their graduates as smart graduates who have got enough knowledge, alongside they have necessary or essential skills, then they can also act as smart citizens in this country. So the universities or the higher education institutions can play a very important role by supplying smart graduates to different sectors, and through this the university or universities can play their role in this step. If we talk about smart society, the university can also have a smart society. Their teachers, their staff, other staff, their students, they all can be smart if they are professional, if they are empathetic to the people who are from underprivileged group or who are disabled. I use the term disabled. I used to use another term, but I also work with disabled people, and they prefer this word, disabled, because they think that if we don't use this terminology and try to use another so-called smart term, then they actually don't get the, they don't enjoy the rights they are supposed to. So if the university society, a society within the university, want to claim themselves as smart, they have to honor or they have to respect their fellow counterparts, their fellow students, their fellow colleagues, who may be from underprivileged groups, as I mentioned, who may be a Hijra, who may be a disabled person, or who may have other problems. So the university should also be a smart society itself if they want to produce smart graduates, because everything has to be in practice. If we just give lecture in our classrooms and behave in a different way outside the classroom, then the students will not learn from me. So I have to be smart, I have to have the attitude which is down to earth, I have to be professional, I have to come to the class with essential preparation, and I have to have other qualities. Professor Rob, Honorable Professor Rob, sir mentioned that UGC established IQAC some years ago. Some of them are active and some are not. IQACs can play a very important role to make their teachers smart and other non-academic stuff smart as well. The IQACs should try to run a program for self-assessment. Every department or school, in school systems, every school or any program offering entity should have their own self-assessment. We started it in, when we started the HECAP project, we established IQAC, and some public universities, I believe some private universities as well, they underwent through this process of self-assessment so that the department can assess their weaknesses, strengths and weaknesses both, and work accordingly to take care of the issues they need to solve. The IQAC should offer research training program. Professor Rob also mentioned about research training program offered by UGC. We have a plan to offer research training through our HEAT project, where we will produce master trainers who can train their colleagues in their universities or in other universities. IQACs should play the main role because the government will not, is not willing to establish a central academy for teachers training. So we have, we are thinking that we should, have some a good number of master trainers through our HEAT project, and they will act as trainers at different IQACs. They can invite them, or they can have a pool of trainers for these trainings. They should have trainings on self-assessment, as I mentioned, teachers training, which should include teaching methods, which should be smart teaching method, and there can be a training on blended education. Honorable Vice Chancellor, Southeast University, he is an expert in that area, I believe. We met several times on that issue, on blended learning. And they should also offer training programs on, which is a foundation training or something like that, which can include professionalism, ethics, morality, empathy, smartness, punctuality, all these things, and research proposal, research methods, academic writing. Even some teachers can also take training on IELTS or other types of language training program or preparation courses. British Council and other organizations can help them. There is an American center also. American Embassy can help our IQACs with that. We can coordinate if necessary, if the IQACs ask for. We are happy to help in that process. And universities need to, our universities, as has been mentioned by our colleagues, they mainly focus on honors, masters, and those types of higher education programs. Universities can also offer vocational programs. If our polytechnic and other institutes fail, then universities, they have a duty to take over, and they can offer vocational training programs. Universities, even if I talk about law programs, we can offer vocational law programs or vocational, bar practitioners training program or programs like that as our Bar Council and other organizations are not doing that. Universities can take over and they can do that. And other departments also can do the same things. They can offer short courses, modular programs. They can offer programs for mothers who are in their 40s. I mean, they are not in other jobs, but they are doing the most important jobs at home. At some point, they feel lonely when their children become adult or independent, and universities can offer programs for that, because if we leave them behind and a good number of educated female counterparts remain unemployed at the time they want to get employed, universities can offer some programs which are up to date and which are contemporary. And if the mothers gets those, degrees or some sort of short courses or programs, they can come back to their professional life. Universities have the obligation to serve our nation or serve our society in such a way, so that we don't leave many members of our society behind. And to make it a smart society, we need to take care of those unemployed, so-called unemployed mothers as well. Universities can employ their new graduates as teaching assistants or research assistants. I mean, we start with the lecturership, but they can start with teaching assistantship. And if one can prove himself or herself as a smart graduate who is prepared for teaching, then they can be employed as lecturers. Universities should invite industry experts for their curriculum development, for their classroom teachings, and also for their career seminars. At least we three are from SWAS in London. Honorable Dean, Advisor to the law school, and forthcoming Professor Mahbub is also from SOAS. We studied, Professor Mahbub and I have had the same supervisor, Professor Rainer Minsky at SOAS, and Borhan Bhai also is a student of Professor Minsky. He was his postgraduate tutor during his PhD at SOAS. So I used to work as a teaching assistant of Professor Minsky and research assistant as well, and I used to sit in his room. So I had the experience of observing that Professor Minsky was the careers advisor. He is a world-famous professor in his area. Still, he was acting as a careers advisor, and they do have this careers seminar in their class routine. Every week, they have these seminars for law school. Other schools also offer the same types of weekly career seminars, and Professor Minsky used to invite industry experts and employers from reputable law firms and other organizations. And through this, their graduates used to learn. Their students used to learn every week what the demand of the industry is. And our universities should also offer these programs. Every school or every faculty should offer this. Maybe they can divide a faculty into clusters where there are, ICT, CSE, and other engineering departments, and civil and architecture departments. They can have several clusters. They should offer weekly career seminars, and IQAC should ask or advise the schools or the deans of those schools to organize weekly research seminars. Perhaps I mentioned it in another program, for weekly research programs for teachers or researchers, through which young teachers can learn how to publish a paper in a reputed journal, which may be a Q1 journal or something like that. Perhaps he or she was preparing their paper for a Q3 or Q4 or even not indexed, not an indexed journal. They can get the courage or inspiration from their colleagues to publish it in a Q1 journal. Through this, all these activities, we can act as a smart university for making our graduates smart, and through offering a smart education. I was asked about the PhD programs we are going to introduce for private universities, and there was a proposal from IUBAT and other universities in late 90s or after 2000, that there should be a collaborative approach. I think there is a need of that approach still now for some universities. The universities who have got enough skilled and experienced teachers and the environment for this PhD research, they can help others to carry out such types of research. We will think about it, and it will be, we are under the process of preparing a guideline for that, and the guideline will take care of quality PhD. The universities who have bad reputation of selling certificates will not be allowed to have such programs, and it will not be offered to a university. We can allow some schools or departments for offering PhDs. We will take care of that, and we will invite our respected colleagues from private universities in several meetings, and we will form expert committees for producing modules or curriculum for coursework, a one-year coursework, which will take care of research methodology issues and the impact of a research or outcome of that PhD research, and how society will be benefited or the area of study will be benefited, how to write a thesis. All these issues will be there. So that will be also a smart initiative for universities, and the universities, private universities will also get benefited through these PhD programs, and for ranking, that will also be a helpful step, I believe. I think I would not say much more on this. Universities should have innovation hubs in their campus. They can start, they can have startup ecosystems, specialized labs for 4IR technologies. They should also think about having technologies for 5IR, which is approaching now, and they should also think about smart digital leadership academy at their institutes at their university, if they think so, and they can have 4IR or 5IR centers. I wish all our private universities, the top private universities at least, will be able to help our state to fulfill the goal of becoming or turning it into a smart Bangladesh by 2041. I wish all of you a very good day, and I wish our the father of our dean, SBE a quick recovery. Thank you all. Jai Bangla, Jai Bangla.
Thank you, sir, for your valuable remarks. We are almost at the last phase of this event. Now, I would like to invite our Honorable Pro Vice Chancellor, Professor Niaz Ahmed Khan, PhD, to convey his vote of thanks.
Salam and greetings, everyone. This has been a long and intense discussion. I'll be brief. We truly have a starry audience today, as many as 4 vice chancellors, including ours. We have the distinguished presence of the honorable member in charge of the private universities division at UGC. We have our representation from the board and a host of distinguished faculty. It's not every day that you have so many professionals under one roof, and we feel truly privileged. Now, when I mentioned about the UGC member and the vice chancellors, of course, they have their own distinguished positions and identities, but they are not known just by their official formal positions. Because we have been knowing these people from close quarters, I remain a personal witness to some of the accomplishments that they have made over the years at a very personal, individual, professional level. So they go beyond the myopics of their position. Professor Biswajit Chandra has been a trusted friend of IUB, and this has been mentioned by my Vice Chancellor and by my Chair of the Board. And we truly mean this. He has been a guide and also a facilitator to some of the major initiatives that we have undertaken over the last 2.5 years or so. And we have this opportunity to have him again with us, and we remain deeply thankful. The distinguished vice chancellors present here, and I'll be failing in my duty if I don't mention their individual, just 1 or 2 quick examples of the individual contribution. Professor Imran Rahman, and he has actually mentioned this, beyond his contribution to the establishment and consolidation of ULAB, and he has worked in different capacities. He has been a pioneer in sustainable development and entrepreneurship development ideas. This is not something that we are very aware of. I just wanted to make this quick point in acknowledging his contribution. Just 1 or 2 quick examples. Professor Abdul Rob has been a pioneer in establishing management development, the institutionalization of management development education in this country. Professor Yusuf Mahbubul Islam, one of our very own, as the honorable member UGC mentioned, he has been a pioneer in blended learning and teaching pedagogical approaches. We are truly happy to have you in. We consider you as part of extended IUB family. You have been with IUB in one capacity or the other, and we truly feel honored. Professor Biswajit Chandra has actually led some of the major reform efforts within UGC. We know this because we work closely with him. Just to mention 1 or 2, rationalization of the semester system within the private university broader portfolio. He has mentioned about in response to the queries that were put forward to him, he mentioned about some of the policies that he has been particularly instrumental in formulating and also consolidating. The recent discussion about introduction of PhD program within the private university portfolio. He has also put a very methodical approach to some of the committees that UGC had traditionally, but I must mention not very effectively. In his time, these committees, for example, the Degree Equivalence Committee, we have seen serious reform within these committees and the way these committees now operate at a very professional level. It's important to acknowledge people's contribution. And I just wanted to take this opportunity to mention a few of the individual contributions beyond their official positions of some of our guests present here today. Our board has been particularly facilitative. They've been forthcoming to support most of the ideas that we experimented with. Some ideas actually did not work out at the end. Some ideas did work out. But they have provided unflinching support to the management. And I acknowledge our debt to the board, especially the chair of the board is present here today, including another very forthcoming member, Mr. Tanvir Madar. As you will all understand, much work have gone into the organization and the run-up to the event today, and I acknowledge the contribution made by my colleagues in the SBE, led by the Dean, and her able colleagues. My colleagues in administration and in other faculties have supported in the organization of this event. Much homework needed to be done, and with, of course, still we have got many limitations, and we very humbly seek the forbearance and apologies from our distinguished guests. But we had the sincerity and the warmth and the goodwill in welcoming all of you. And I hope that this is beginning of a longer exercise between us and you. Collaboration was mentioned repeatedly throughout the discussion. And I must say that this was an insightful discussion. Some of the points made by, very briefly, even within the very limited time, and I don't think we have been able to do justice to our speakers, to the topic that we requested them to address, and the time that we have actually allotted don't clearly match. And this was a limitation, but even within these limitations, some points that were made by the very distinguished speakers was just so important. I made just one or two quick notes. Professor Rob talked about some form of institutional, maybe an academy, maybe some form of a specialized facility for training up the university professors. Extremely important point. And this was responded also very positively by the Honorable UGC member. The UGC member's point about defining smartness beyond just technology, beyond the myopics of technology, moving onto the more human domain of it, the nurturing and culturing basic human qualities when we talk about smart citizens. I think that's a very important point to make. Professor Imran Rahman's point about the 30 years of journey, I think that was a very objective assessment of private universities' journey over the last 3 decades or so. And he has been a very close witness to the whole process. And thank you, Professor Rahman, for that. Our own, and I feel proud to mention this, Professor Yusuf Islam, I think he has actually done a good summary of most of the discussion that the preceding, I guess, the preceding speakers made. Thank you, sirs and madams, for your kind presence. And as I said, we hope to continue this dialogue and this discussion and this warmth and this relationship between us in one form or the other. Thank you for kindly responding to our call, and we wish you all the best. God bless.
Thank you, sir, for your wonderful vote of thanks. Now, I would request all our honorable guests, our honorable trustees, honorable Vice Chancellor and Pro-Vice Chancellor, sir, Treasurer and Registrar, sir, to come up on stage. I would request our Honorable Chair of BOT, Mr. Didar Hossain, to offer crest of IOB as a token of appreciation to our guest. I would request our Honorable Chair of BOT, Mr. Didar Hossain, to offer crest of IOB as a token of appreciation to our guest, Dr. Abdul Rauf. I would like to request Mr. Didar Hossain, sir. I request our Honorable Vice Chancellor, sir, to adorn our guest with IOB sash. All of them. So all of them. সবাইকে দেবে। আরেকটা আছে। সব গিফট সিরিয়ালি দাঁড়ান। I request our Pro Vice Chancellor, Professor Niaz Ahmed Khan sir, to give IOB souvenir to our guest. I now request all the faculty members and administrative members from SBE to come up on stage and to pose for a group photo.
No. I'm.
স্টলের কথা বলি। The photo exhibition is at Multipurpose Hall and a stall at the ground floor of main building. We invite you to visit the exhibition and stalls. Thank you.